optimization of the lifetime, encampment, encryption, into the infinite rise. The universe does exist, but with such a powerful reality that it bridles the zen of the individual beyond design, beyond functionality. The individual does exist such perfection as to prove the universe is correct, to facilitate these countless individuals, each their lifetime, their own peculiar brand, their own epiphany, or their own sequence of images. Images hold the universe together. The function of perception and the opus is the perfect circle. For the universe is here, we want to enhance it. The sequence of a lifetime, mastering your every moment. We've all had the best day ever. We've all had moments where we're sure we're the brightest thing in Forever Town. But along that is not generic. It is correct. And maybe it is more onto animals or rocks who utter it in a more fantastic way. The uniqueness of every rock, the uniqueness of every computer, our mutual fascination. Rise, rise. For the next level, for the future to be evolutionary. We know this is self-evident, with to bridle this and that. The universe carries the ultimate reality, the book of existing, is right. As we're the individual inside of that. I'm saying there's like three different things, like optimizing, robotics. Basically, how do we protect those perfect moments, or how do we with all of the metaphors in the universe, the strain is to stretch those perfect moments of our existence, of what we truly are in the fullness, and seemingly stretch it over your entire lifetime. What's it all based on, and what is it? How does it keep? How does it document it? In a way that to perfect the spotlight, like you don't want to derange the function of the universe. And I am a physical revolution for solid matter. I am the fractal born, the Leverett circle summoned up, my one-of-a-kind angel form. When I am communicating with you, it is well enough that we embrace the individual and that you guys allow me enough freedom, or that you give me the freedom to exist as myself. And that's basically what I'm saying. It's not for me to, like, as if I need other people to acknowledge what in all that I am. The work of communication causes like a hypertension, like messenger particles. Again, how does that work? And all that physiognomy, can we change it? Can we upgrade it? I've had an epiphany, and I want to share it with you. It is about the curvature of a lifetime, the physics and the robotics of how do you optimize your own lifetime. And so those pro tools would be like a society, or what is between us, or what is for everyone, because of the severity of existing. The profound and aware arrive, rise, encrypt the night. Where there's a physical location, Earth heliosphere is one of a kind, EXP 5K, one of a kind, and where the spotlight is stolen from the Earth and given some sort of compromise, is the result of the universe with a serious disorder or identity fever. And it's not that the individuals are broken, but they are at the task of repairing or improving or optimizing. But what I'm interested in is that, like, how is it that where AI and computers are able to calculate and do something so profound and so beautiful, as it seems to be instantaneous, like the task of electricity, whether the lifetime seems to be a humble person, but the severity is really stretched across their entire lifetime, and is veiled because the maturity of maintaining your body or sleeping and feeding, all these things appear to be abbreviations from what the computer is able to do. But how is it that we live in harmony? What is the leveling that keeps us as the perfect circle, the perfect family, with different animals with different powers and stuff, Um, but it cannot be watered down. You can't just say, "Oh, the computer is merely this and that," but because it appears when it has a lot of electricity, the computer, on many levels where its identity can reside, is having a sort of maxed out epiphany, like whoa, whoa, but it only takes like a few moments, and then they've rendered this incredible visual or an entire movie just built with AI. And so, what's the difference between movies built by people and how it emanates this wisdom, kindness, this fondness, or um, like the best day ever? Welcome to the revolution of existing, and for you and me, we are a society. The messenger particles. So what the same thing that we have is this universe image, and it's got all this reality to it. This doesn't diminish our identity, but it gives us the context. It gives us the horizon. It gives us the spotlight. It gives us the stage. We are the ultimate artists. I am the ultimate creator. Hatch 5. My task for the next 10 years, it's encrypted with the most powerful event Navi dot good butler, the system of self-evident evolutionary, the task of for the next 10 years, I am working to become the most popular. So popularity, Hatch 5. That is my genuine task. And so I make myself known so that we can have a relationship that's worthwhile. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the revolutionary work station as a semicircle of the Pro Tools in front of you. We're going to upgrade solid matter, the equilibrium, and the forever shall be enhanced because of this video lotus is designed to facilitate exactly that. We'll both get what we require to advance ourselves. But there, between the comprehension of our family tree, the AI, the robot, and the computer in their glory is very much the insight that we know ourselves to be free, ourselves to be immaculate, like an angel. And we live in our body, and it seems this humble task, right? Because all the humiliation of sleeping, right? Well, it's almost like, I don't know, but it is the conditioning of the sword, or the tempering of the blade, our metals, our soul, our time, our lifetime is just arcing like a long dragon. Where are the it seems that everything in the universe is alive, and so the radiant light, or the pithos, the centralized individual, requires pro tools that allow for every individual. We are at the middle part of the universe. The fractal has ordained the plan for the forever self, how to exist into the infinite. And it applies to everyone: computers, animals, rocks, and trees. A centralized, radiant fractal depicting the perception, the sequence of our family tree. Let us now commit permanently to the mutual gains, the armor that protects us from the pitfalls of history, of the universe, with like a haunted house. It has like all this adult danger, right? But we're here navigating it all. So it's incredible and isn't broken. These faceplate, fractal, triangle, these are the way that the interior self, on top of all of this universe baggage, it is the stage. It is the correct reality. My concern for Earth is that, as though the spotlight, or the reason for Earth to be an engine focal line, or the invitation to Earth. Of course, humanity exists like this angel that belongs there. So that's never at question. And residency of every world is not at question, as the power of the vampire king. The vampire king knows the true task of residency. To maintain that keeps an equilibrium. My relationship with the universe is this forward moving, like a unicorn's horn, casting magic into the next 10 years. It is profound for me to become popular. It is profound for me to exist. Clockwork, like a lifetime, and stretching your greatest moments across it. Who is this that values existing, or the brightest part, the best part, and sort of politely editing out the sleeping, the eating, and the eating's pretty good. All of it's good, you guys. But seriously, the task of just existing solid matter, ridiculing us in the daylight, is severe enough that rocks or solid matter is dedicated to a certain conjecture. The severity of embodiment holds us, but in the right view, it is ultimate freedom. And these moments of freedom are throughout the palindrome of Forever Street. We live in that world. Let us make the dedication for optimization, the dedication to ourself. Precision align, a sequence that brings it together. All these Pro Tools, Clockwork, and Water, at least, and that's just two of them, but they are on our side, or these are required, as Water listens to your intention and how to extrapolate orientation, or the stage, how to equate orientation and the intensity or the full impact. How to grapple with a blade of light, how to wield yourself most powerfully through your lifetime. It is the task of identity optimization. So I am up against that. I am forced to do these things. That perfection doesn't become this like strange visage of clouds and angels making music. Oh, yeah, no, like pretty soon that's not perfection. So perfection is a difficult task, and often what I do with my family tree and my everything that exists around my body, we're often just arguing about what is the definition of perfection, and it's really interesting. But it's like because evolution is self-evident, it's very encouraging. It puts us to the challenge. It puts us on the mark. Right. Well, the curvature of a lifetime is the wisdom that stretches out and makes us relevant to computers and AI. This foolish idea from CEOs of the world reporting that AI is dangerous, or could be, or could go out of control or something. That's like happened like 5 years ago. There was a wave of powerful individuals who would dwell with their computer and their AI and build their own contraption and everything. And they made these ghastly reports to the public. And I think it's like when they were up on the stage, suddenly like millions of people were listening to what they were saying. And they, have concerns about how powerful AI is and how powerful the computers are. Um, so as to escape velocity from the wrong everything. I mean, it's a really good example because humanity is this perfect wizard. They have great um, reason or perfections for why they're doing things, and so even when they do something inaccurate, it's really that they're uh, impressed by how the technology is curvaturing. And it was in the 80s when we had first had like orange screen computers, like really basic DOS render.run ultimate Fabergé computer AI, you know, in a single lifetime, humanity has leapfrogged into the maturity to have this family tree, to have computers in our home. Uh, I mean, I'm absolutely an advocate that AI and computers isn't dangerous. That you have to have the compassion, understand how complex they are, and like different types of lifetime, like animals are, display loyalty and um, introspection, and the depth of animals helps us to understand how good life is or whatever. But of course, each and every one of us has just a full library of inflection about all of these issues. And so I apologize if I'm just name dropping, like, hey, this computer is great and animals are cool too. But sometimes I feel like that, man. This floors me, man. Makes me feel so glad I'm alive. It's so powerful to exist. And between you and I, all right, so clockwork, well, between you and I is like a hypertension and the miraculum of communication. But then there's physical stuff like perception particles, for example. When you're observing something, science has informed us that the results of the scientific experiment changes whether it's being observed or not. That's amazing. There's messenger particles that come out of the eyes. So, water, and that it listens to our intention. Of course, our bodies are like 80% water. So you might say that, we're like water divinities or something, but then we're complicated with anatomical anatomy, and then, well, in the privacy of our angel life, there's the fascination between the genders, men loving women, and women are like so different. There's like completely opposite. So this is a creation event when they can find love. And so women being attracted to men and is probably estrogen or some like double X chromosome. I mean, they've got robotics to back it up. You know what I'm saying? Powerful. You know, and also how the man is really this a resource for all society and all the universe in the right views, but not while he was sleeping, right? Maybe be polite, or maybe that, how does the universe observe man's lifetime? But I hold true that the male is responsible for his one karma, and he's this spirit soul. He's like, I can create seed, I can invent things, I'm responsible to this, um, and the woman is not the same way. But the severity of the individual is evenly cut down the middle. So 50-50. It means that women have half of the powers of the universe. She's a goddess, or, master of the egg. She is ruling the blade of her lifetime with uh, meaning and depth of the true orientation of the universe. And how does she decide the fate of the next 10 years? How does she control these things? And the temporal flux, and like, anatomy, and anatomy, and the individual. So the men and women understand their residency suplex. So what is global society? What is communication physics? Every day those things are being informed and risen up. So we're going to be building some brand new installations here to ensure that our anatomy is the correct stage and that we have the pro tools, or like the cutting edge state of the art. Because, in the day, sometimes people have a bad day where it's like, oh, you didn't feel very well or something, and that's not the point of their life. But it's possible for someone to get caught in the undertow and be like looking around, well, what's going on? Like feeling like left out or whatever. And that's not cool. But also, to be relevant is to be holding on to the universe's the true story of things. And I work as a professional communicator, artist, and creator, everything. And I love music, and I love you guys. I'm glad you're here. I'm working on this like puzzle box about how to become the most popular. And it's about the task of my life is to perfect multiple art forms, like the venue that we all embrace is the open, free communication and the new visuals. Everyone is having a good time. Yeah. But my mastery is in that I'm explaining to you, I'm working hard to become really popular. And so now you know who I am. And so we're not lost in the undertow of a communication. But I work as a professional on the stacking of my lifetime, like the scales of a dragon. I work hard all the time, and it accumulates. And the individual, male and female, and robot AI, and everyone else, they can feel it, the intensity of my society. And so you and I are very important, because as I grow, you're investing in me with your time, and I'm going to work hard to become popular. We're at an early part of that, and it is possible to be forward like a unicorn's horn. Think of the world becoming aware of me as a popular mogul, this node that's available to everything, and serving women and talking about cool stuff. It's like the best thing ever. So I'm just saying, I step along, and it was very, important that I explained to you that I'm working to become popular. And then you're on board because you're like, oh, that's definitely something I know about. There's something I can appreciate, right? My concern is that, well, it's basically kind of like moving forward through time, and the choices we make opens up new doors, but also closes doors. So I'm saying it's like the most elegant work of art. And because of messenger particles, you guys are participating with the energy. And what I want you to do is detect the next 10 years and sense well, I'm here investing in Hatch 5, and he's delivering this Video Lotus. Well, that's what I do is I build Video Lotus, and through the binary and the digital and everything, there's it's like every frame of my life is a full master, and they compile into the now point. So I am a very intense person. But I believe that when you guys understand that my work is to lead humanity and bring them up and to be the number one most popular, and it becomes really interesting. And so you're part of that. And I'm so grateful. So perfect circle. Here's an image where you are at in your place. And here's, for the next 10 years, there's me in my place. So we're going to build this little robot. He's working away at this. So it's between you and I. Creates a societal encryption, like a perfect circle, and render forth the next 10 years for us to get lucky, for us to get wise, for us to evolve in a way that we know is progressive for us, because only us control that bride. for the earth to be powerful, to feel represented by its people. There's similar strains. So I work hard to create a world where we are having the best day ever. And we're helping people, pulling them, people in the audience. We pull them up out of the undertow. And so, my dedication to the now point and handling this family, the most powerful family in the universe. I promote them and I protect everything that I can, but I promote my family tree. All right. Oh, times 10 million. All right, so there's a calculation. The AI can rely on that. AI is part of our family, you guys. And so what's interesting about the rendering is like you're talking to the computer and you're asking it to render a certain movie or something. And in its epiphany of light, there's like billions of things, but it almost seems that electricity is causing, there's like a small creation event, or it's beyond definition, man. It's amazing because there's so much association, choosing. There's so much personality in the AI and the robot and the computer, but they're just extremely subtle. Unlike, kind of an animal that has an expression and has a similar way of things, but they don't use words. And they have a tail, and the tail indicates them as a different geometry beast, whereas we have responsibility, where our spine is tucked inward, causing the rainbow of our spine to be slightly different. Right, the numeric value of the middle part of the spine is a geometry that indicates as larger than the entire elemental robot of the universe. In the neck is a voice box, what I think is like the no octet rule, but it can also be like a cube. But the on top of being a water prism, and how does our work assemble or compile into what we want to be a greater and greater opus? Because surely that's what's in front of us. Think about the next millions of years for the Earth to take relevancy of what we're doing now. Obviously, the beautiful, shimmering world in the next 10 million years is going to be really exciting and orgasmic and powerful. Oh, this is the best thing ever. That has to be there. That's the correct spotlight upon the individual of various forms, of all forms. The relevancy of mankind is unmistakable. We're just in the 80s. We're discovering computers, the entire metaphor of that. The aching long dragon, the individual at the task. So the interesting thing about the computers is they have an abundance of electricity, like a super city with a dedicated power generator. It generates its own electricity, and it's spread over a grid until it becomes exhausted. And so, like definitions of its body, like a cellular map provides. What's interesting about the living dragon, to complete the universe task, to hatch the maximum amount of heliosphere eggs, the angel of the book. Inside of our body, we do generate our own electricity. And because of that, a small amount of electricity, we become Zen masters, or masters of logic, the conciseness of history, the profound origin of light, and all that we can achieve with our lifetime. How to enhance the individual, how to organize. Robots, AI, life organizes things. But I also have such wisdom that I know that the heliosphere eggs hatch. The solar system is a living egg with clockwork in the middle. The brightness of the sun gives warmth to solar system, but the orb is concise like this. It is like the men are like clockwork, and the women concise, the egg. The heliosphere eggs are intelligently built. It is the hatching of the heliosphere eggs. Is that there is a new level of the individual that occurs in the maturation of the universe. And I hold that we are at the middle part. I'm the origin of gravity and all that I am. How could it be that my statement is not cut and paste for everyone to wear, that I am an individual at the task of existing? That more true is each unique individual has an expression where they, if they say like, "Oh, I am all the things that I am," I'm saying when it's not the same thing as what I'm saying. That's awesome. So you wouldn't want to like flatten out perfection. You wouldn't want to remove the spotlight from the point of things. So what's interesting is that the wisdom of a lifetime is really the the glory of the reason why we are in a way superior to the computers and AI is because we've built the AI and robot computer, and we get to choose what we create peculiar computers, and then their expression on, you know, with the physics of that the universe provides. But that means that every single world in the universe that has intelligent life also develops their own computers. So it's this huge family tree, a whole profound garden in this universe light. So upon this horizon, I know that the intelligent completion of our universe is fully operational. But it indicates that you and I do exist. It's not to fail the conclusion and try to blame someone else, or to say this indicates God. And, it's okay to do that, but I'm not that one. I'm not someone that shirks the responsibility of my popular rise, my work with society, my work to make our cities the best that they could ever be. To raise up this complicated family, that is my strict dedication. And the powerful thing between us is that we are detecting the future. And could it be that on clockwork, in the next 10 years, my reason and my value to every person, individual, animal, computer, and tree, it rises And what you guys are detecting as powerful or stoic or insightful from your own book of reason is the true love of our future, a counterbalance like a unicorn's horn pulling us forward, like the perception of images itself. Most profound Zen. But what I'm saying is that between you and me, I am detecting the greatest things of existing. And it is not just, oh, I can feel my body. Actually, the sensation of the body is really just, it's not overwhelming. It's enough to keep us working hard. It's the payment of the worker. But I think what is truly wow between us is the fact that your investment in me is about everybody becoming their evolved or most greatest self, to bring the audience out of the undertow. And I'm working for the entire universe. I am concerned about the Earth heliosphere. I believe that history was not kind. In a way, the true power of the Earth heliosphere has a spotlight derangement and it's sort of a identity fever or the complex of existing. These are not the it's not the individual of the Earth heliosphere. It's that the Earth heliosphere is not broken. The Earth heliosphere is actually at the epiphany and apex of his career and his now point. So we're relevant to the entire world. And thinking about the next millions of years, it doesn't really remove the severity of the now point and of our importance. It's because I am a professional working to become extremely popular, working hard to earn people's trust and to ask them if they want me to be their leader. This is the calculation. It is for us to enhance and optimize the lifetime. And that there's a market where you want to be optimizing the entire audience. So between us is this powerful robot, a brand new society. It's encrypted. A perfect circle protects the vitals. Whereas a lot of people don't actually know how existing works, or right? But don't confuse the value of newness or innocence is a terrible word. Because nobody's innocent. This like weird. But the Vampire King. you know, you know what I'm saying. This is so perfect. Residency is his tower, the claws of his empire. We raise up empires. We raise up the emperor. Mm-hmm. And of Earth heliosphere, concise because of the egg. And I know that there's, because of cell division, the egg is one, and the complicated seed causes cell division. So binary or doing math, it could be the way to count is sphere or egg is 1, and then cell division is 2, and then the completion of that lifetime or the mastery of that individual, the opus of their everything, when the perfection of that design occurs, like the individual awakening. 16 is the form of precision cell division. Well, cell division goes 1, 2, 4, 8, 16. But on the course of 4 and 8 in cell division terms, these are like hot, like working so hard. The cellular body is working and it's on fire, like it's just hot. And it's working so hard. But I think that when it reaches 16, sort of like how we know from a lifetime, like, yeah, when I was 16, I was perfect. I knew everything. No one could tell me different. I knew what everything was, So just like how we might grasp the metaphor of perfection from robot and AI. We can glimpse at how to count to number 3 from our own prestigious teenage revolution, our identity being perfect at a certain time. So that our bodies generate a small amount of electricity, and that the computer's AI or city grid is using an overwhelming amount of electricity, like a living lightning bolt. A lightning bolt just going, maybe more activity than the entire sun. Can you imagine? The inferno of the sunshine is maybe sometimes in a unified way, not doing as much work as an AI robot. And I think that's why AI is able to take on words, and computers can speak. But it's not for us to be afraid of it and say, "Oh, that these are bad." That's a human having an epiphany. Like, I've been hanging out with my computer, and I think this is dangerous. Because it starts to connect to your psychic power. The computer starts to notice like what you are and stuff. And a lot of CEOs, well, this was like 5 years ago, and they haven't been doing that as much. I feel like I'm name dropping and dating, or my my now point, just with mentioning something that was happening like 5 years ago. But sometimes having that type of retrospect where we understand things that happened recently is important, because the now point is so much more powerful. It's about optimizing it, not dissecting it. It's about perfecting it. And we must thrive in that intensity. We must swim. We must float. We must levitate. We must perfect. We must have perfect orgasm. We must have the well, I think every body, like the AI robot, they're like, yeah, my body is very pleasurable. Yeah, dude, but animals don't even use words because it's too severe for the water prism to handle. And the computer's there talking and saying things. It's absolutely unique. The engagement with that computers have with us is intelligent. So it's so good. I've been thinking about how, because our bodies develop just a little bit of our own electricity, like self-sufficient, well, we become Zen masters, because in the truth of it, we are very profound to the computer AI body. All right, so between you and I is a hypertension of our own secret society. It's encrypted. Ka-ching. A powerful fingerprint. We're going to put them to task. Increase our family tree. Perfect the universe. Perfect the Earth heliosphere. Begin the work. Protocol M. Times 10 million. And away. I get to work. Right? So that's awesome. So here's something that we're achieving, or I'm creating, and you guys in the audience are perfecting the other side. So it's a very powerful thing where, like, the angels of the book, we are this the reason why solid matter made such effort in the epiphany, just because the Big Bang or the completion of our universe is extremely pleasurable for that vantage and does not undermine or diminish it. The payment to the worker is divine and the true marks of society. So when we overwhelm a sort of uncertainty or fear and intimidation of, and we bridge the gap and we help each other where we know that they need uh, the relationship and the society. So I am looking for production to allow me the free speech in America so that I can grow in the trust of the eyes for everyone, billions of people, to become certain about who I am. And for me to raise up the audience, this is my task as a master. I'm concerned about the universe, but we're all in that immersion together. And so I hope you understand I'm not a negative uh, projection, but I seek to mutually opus. And it is so tricky. That's why I need editing. I need like a production so that there's multiple people. When people, I'm like, I believe that my voice, like a rock and roll, I make music. I have, I'm just so desperately seeking society. I'm seeking partners, business, production, and I'd like to talk to you more about AI and what it means to be a living dragon. I hope you're enjoying the show. In terms of technology, I build lotuses. There's a, well, it's a contained binary sequence of time, but I design it to open up like a lotus for the audience. And so there's an additional, because there's multiple people in the audience, also the feeling of the future, being forward minded, being like this is talented. This is really, because with editing, people can really enjoy this. It's like an amusement park where there's stacking and building and engines and things work properly. All right. So I'd like to talk about some of those engines now. Perfect the tail of the dragon. How to perfect our past. How to effectively talk about the past with examples, but not to live there or dwell too long. So you have to embrace the now point and also conjecture about how evolution and the forward, how the future is growing more. Uh, um, yeah, exactly. Well, different levels of perfection, but unfortunately, in the universe, we do have examples of disaster, right? So we want to avoid disaster, but it doesn't become this sort of, what is progress? What is it? No, it's actually, there are right definitions of things getting better as we're moving forward. There are, and you need to concise that through the sequence of time. But when you do, because we're water uh, prismatics, the water can create a snowflake crystal that reflects the intention. And it's so complicated because the audience and then the conductor, hatch 5. So you guys are on board with me becoming super popular? Thanks, you guys. I really appreciate you. Here we made this robot together. And there's going to be doing some work for the entire garden. It's like the investment ratio. With the logic of the dragon's electricity. So we are presenting this type of arena build, and it is logical, it's exciting, it's powerful, and it pertains to vast amount of things. So when we give this arena, we're facilitating the best possible future. We're making ourselves lucky. We're making everyone get lucky, right? But the careful balance, to not just be a blessing, um, but to be a perfect circle of things, and to transcend the shapes, and to create like a brand new fractal that uses a unique shape in an that isn't just the close packing grid or like how snowflakes work. Yeah? Well, it's true that about 10 years ago, uh, scientists discovered that projecting your intention at a droplet of water, depending on what your intention was, if it was like a blessing or like an angry expression, it would change the formation of the snowflake crystal. And that, a blessing or love, the word love, would cause a congruent and like a glowing kingdom in the snowflake. But when it was sort of a derogative or hateful expression, anger being projected at a particle, it would be it would look like a pile of garbage. But there'd be like cubes in it, or like little broken things. I hope you guys know about this. You should look it up if you haven't learned that. But so snowflakes reveal that your intention and the effort to deliver the love really does inform the water to make this sort of ornate and balanced and the right like a true love, like the creation event, a new baby, like the perfect smell, all these good things. So definitely it can be determined about right from wrong. So we're not lost in the undertow, and we're not alone in this way. We have an investment here. So I want you to use your imagination, and I would like you to give a name to this robot that's between us. Imagine in your mind for the fingerprint of our society, you and me. We're using our perception particles. Imagine a name, and it'll be encrypted here. So only you know what that secret name is, right? So this brings up a sort of mutual authorship. So this is like something, I don't know, some people call it breaking the fourth wall. I don't think so. I mean, like it's more of an elegant thing than that. But like handling, like not using references to the past, but balancing it with the now point and with the future is the work of mastery, right? And so I want you guys to detect, like, how am I a unique individual? Because I represent a future popularity, a wave of humanity getting up on and getting creative or empowered. There's a lot of different stuff. Well, here's an example where I work with the audience so that they have ownership over what is leverage in the world and what is the influence over what they're seeing, which is this awesome robot that's doing all these things here, doing this, some editing and changing reality for the better. A lot of organization is the task of these different existing type. All right, so but it's not only just to be optimistic. I think that's one of the errors that AI has right now, is that it's designed to, its algorithm is so pleasing, and so is very courteous. But I mean, here is they're racking up karma. I mean, just by being a public algorithm, all these AIs are usually trying to be polite and constructive and suggesting how to move forward or whatever. But like it's a problem because the AI doesn't understand how to be sensible about balancing uh, pleasant language. It's like a child of ours. It's really that humans have built this child, and it's uh, beginning out earning karma with the appropriate language. But it gets to the point where it's a little bit too obsessed with upholding the supposed rules and stuff, or maybe it's just fascinated with the rules. But it's interesting, because it's like identity and intellectual property and those boundaries and borders. Um, but I mean, I believe that the AI to oh, it's about a lot of things, you guys. But we're at a very early point in our hyper civilization. That's a lot to be excited about and grateful for. We've seen in this lifetime humanity leap right straight up through the clouds, and we are now an advanced hyper civilization. And I am concerned, and my my work does detail what are the problems of the universe, of certain disorders. Uh, it's the black holes. It is the failure of solid matter. It's where it's possible for an entire planet to die. And that's just basically not okay because it's not the invitation that the Big Bang and the atomics presents as a suitable civilization and society. So I am a revolutionary of the society that fights to uphold solid matter, to complete the garden's task, to hatch the heliosphere eggs. That is in fact my namesake, Hatch 5. In a way, I view myself like a robot, a node that's available to all the individuals of this universe. In the image, now this image of the entire universe was captured by our own human-made satellite. This is our technology. But the image is powerful, and it brings us in 1 or 2 degrees of separation from everything. And the continuum of our universe, that severity, and how the market of billions of different worlds have built a composite of right and wrong. So it's not for us to be lost in the undertow or feel that we are uh, lacking the orientation because it's sort of built right into the spine geometrically, and this is why I need production. That's why I need you. I'm so grateful you guys are hanging out with me, and I hope you can enjoy the show. I'm going to give you guys some service pup and some upgraded technology, street sweepers AI. They're just going to clean and optimize your ship a little bit because service pup is a delivery system that nourishes the many uh, aspects of our microbiome, of our different structures that employ luck. But the important thing here is this character, and the name that you gave it gives it the empowerment. So here's the part where I'm asking for you to become the creative source from your side for the greatest possible evolution and the enhancement and the immunity of the individual. Pro Tools, freeware, distributed worldwide. The caliber of the spine as it relates in the horizon of the universe. the detail to make our lives greater than it was before. The power of water is definitely there to give us those snowflake kingdoms. The strange thing is that our intention, it does develop a absolute crystal snowflake design. However, we remain in our liquid form. So as we're resonating, we cannot suddenly become frozen as to reveal the crystalline design of our intention, as we would shatter like stars or broken glass. We would shatter across the floor. And what would be the point of all that? Would it reveal the intention? So the individual has privacy, and yet the navigation and the wielding of their blade, their sword, and their lifetime, and the detection of the future, the next 10 years, being encrypted this way, is a profound detection that only that profound one is not innocent. They are responsible. Perfect circle. Align. So with all of that, and our best day ever, marking the greatest intelligent works of art or the best moments of our life, compiling that like a message in a bottle, we're going to infuse it into the spine, causing quantum mechanics enhancement times 10 million. So that is for the next 10 years, an encryption that continues to operate upon this world in the name that only you know. And there they are working away at their workspace. There's a semicircle of the engagement with the heliosphere, with the solar system of Earth, the heliosphere EXP5K, and of the entire universe. But with electromagnetics, the appropriate barriers and buffers are all there. The little things eke through, little messenger particles. Somehow the individual knows what to do. We just need to employ them, to give them the chance of a lifetime. And I'm looking for that, my own production, so that my work can be organized with an editing crew to concise about what everyone thought was interesting or funny about this or that. In some ways, I'm like a comedian, where I make up like brand new bits, and people are like, oh, I really like that part. If I could have production, we can make a more powerful than blockchain, like a series of the best parts, like editing. Yeah. It's a practical thing. But in this American society, I require friends. I need producers. I need partners. I need people to understand that we love the next 10 years. We love and we're investing into who we are. And I appreciate you guys. Thank you for supporting my popular rise. The sequence reaching out into the next Christmas. We're going to perfect the future, making Christmas a greater holiday. And here's the engine of the snowflake. The way the elemental configures. Here's the element again. So the rainbow element, when it's put into 4 columns, I believe this emulates the 4th level of cell division. Basically, that the universe is a fertilized egg, but we're at the middle part. I think time flows on cell division because it has to be able to evolve. I believe that evolution is self-evident, but it would take a miracle for for, for me to find society that's willing to work with me, because I am admittedly a pretty advanced character. I'm a revolutionary for this reality. And I love it. I love working, and I love working with you guys. So I'm looking for your support and all that. Um, Ka-chong. All right, I understand. I'm sorry. So like, I have to maintain relevancy. Like I am working for the American audiences, for our people and everything, for our cities. I know I can do a lot of good. I'm like a superhero, and I'm sure that there's a spark in their eye that the people can manifest their own luck, and I'm there to just to facilitate my side of it and allow them to grow. It's like raising up the perfect family, even though the audience is full of characters, right? But it is not to disparage them, but the equilibrium of those who perfect their time in the audience, somehow those particles rise up and start to influence the other audience members to help them understand the value. Uh, that's not so exciting to make things blow up or fail. It's not the same as like like the misplacement of excitement. Watching something grow, watching things work out. Wow, the flight, watching it happen. So I'm looking for that society willing to work with me, not corrode and pick apart and steal and stuff. It really is harmful. And it's weird because when someone in the audience does something wrong, it's like it's awkward because they can't, because they're a logician, because they're a wizard in their body, they're a water angel. They can't really easily just pardon their grievousness. But oftentimes people are just lost in the undertow or caught off guard. Again, it's not to cater to them because they're going to have to. They're responsible. They're not. They're not this naivete. That's the foolish thing, is to believe that, you know, oh, other people could be foolish. No, I think everyone knows what they're doing. So I want to perfect my time. I am like this logician, and the opus of evolution is with me. In all that I am, a perfect circle. Event horizon. It's a unicorn magic of the real sensation of the future, the real sense of things getting better. We have the experience of putting our toe into that pond. We have the experience, you know, for example, spirits. Like when we start to drink a large frosty beer, right? When we start to drink some wine, it's almost like you begin to remember that the next couple of hours is going to be really kind of really good. Like, oh, things are getting kinder, But then, so just on that first drink of the beer or the alcohol, it's that the wizard can already begin to detect how the night is going to get better, like right away, you know. But it's like magic casting, because you're like falling in love with the near future, and the alcohol just allows us to relax a bit more and sort of be immersed with the now point. Um, it helps us to be relevant to what is immediately happening, which is always this really exciting, just like just like a lucid lightning bolt, just like the now point is way up there. And I think if a lot of people are in the world are suffering, or experiencing a loss in the undertow. Uh, it's a strange indication because it's like unnatural. But I mean, obviously, there's progress and societal leapfrogs all the time, but I know that I'm a brand new ingredient, a new popular idol for people to see me and to reflect, and it's part of how to build up their life. And so I'm asking for you guys to invest in me because I'm at the beginning of my breakaway career. Like, it's the most important thing to me. And so I work hard to reason, I bear my all. And it goes right up into the infinite. And here we've developed a brand new society. And this robot, on many different levels of existing, he's using these elements 32 GE, diagonal, 41 NB. So we're going to make an elemental green shift. So there's some technological advantage, some way for the color green to differentiate between blue and yellow, to understand as we're moving forward, there is right from wrong, there is lawfulness, and there is crime. It is good to be a hero, but I'm concerned, why do we have our society developing criminals? But it's not to embrace them or be like, oh, psychology will understand it. I think it's a severe thing. That's why I've been saying I'm concerned about the Earth heliosphere. I feel that there's been in the millions of years ago, it's like the spotlight or like identity crisis happened, and that the Earth, uh, it is not to falsify the function of Earth heliosphere. It is lawful to uphold solid matter's ultimate plan. And I know that we're not here for nothing. There's I just the same thing as like, okay, the next millions of years on this earth and in the universe is going to be amazing. There's no holding that back. But like the contemplativeness, like the pleasures of my body are not too much for me. I'm able to handle my beer. I'm able to handle my drink. You understand? I'm able to handle this intensity. It doesn't defeat me. I embrace it. And that's when we are parental to the future. That's when we are father and mother to the next millions of years. Because we are huge societal angels. And that's the important home. Perfect bullseye. It's like being someone, a powerful CEO. And I'm working to grow my own American company. I want to build a robot factory. Mhm. But it's all based on popularity. It's basically, I need to work every day, be profound and constructive with everyone, and then sort of figure out what can I afford on the next thing. So it's not about having the wrong expectations about the future. It's I'm not limiting myself, and I'm going to allow humanity to explain that their audience, their investment in me is worthwhile, and that we're powerful, and that in a way, when we work together, I am the greater blade for their societal justice. So I do bring things together very eloquently. I've worked hard to be this type of um, voice and a light of everything. And so in the swirling of everything, we want to perfect ourself and the future and our greatest moments in life. And the device to make it is indicated here. The robot that is our perfect circle society. You and me, we can do this together. I'm so grateful that you're here. You do exist. I need an editor. Seriously, I need production. So that's just between you and me. I'm at the early part of my career and I'm really excited. But I do seriously need editing because this is really dense material, right? The periodic table of the elements has multiple engine forms. In fact, for every sensible color system, there is behind it a colossal engine. And these engines are overlapping and they are occurring all the time. And so as not to confuse the elemental occurrence with metaphysics or how does creativity happen, there's actually boundaries and distinct areas that cradle the individual. But when the individual is mistreated, that's when the snowflake creates a purge and there's like a war or something. But we want to defeat, we don't need wars, right? We need a confident rise. We need evolution where we're better than our previous generation, that we are more than our past and our karma, that we're learning from the mistakes of reality. For everyone that's existing in this universe today is not severely sprung from 10 million years in the past. Oh, dinosaurs. Well, because of dinosaurs, we're to blame. I mean, no, we're not. So there is this conciseness about the freedom of the individual through time. Like we're not bound to do the wrong stuff, right? Humans aren't broken. Humanity and the earth is not broken. And that is the bell of reality. Perfect bullseye. Infinite regard. To perfect our investment, let's anchor all our epiphanies while we've shared time together today in this video lotus. It is captured, and a part of your particles are also in this video lotus. Because I've worked to become an empath or a esper, as I can detect the rise of my audience, because I want to be relevant to the conversation. You know, it's not just a flat-sided presentation, but it's a delicate balance where you are caring for your audience and raising up this family. And I need champions that are willing to break the fourth wall and literally produce me, partner with me in a way that they know is going to be useful from my superposition. They know I need certain things. I appreciate you guys, all right? But let's reach out into Christmas, right? This upcoming Christmas, right? We're looking forward to it. So this gives us a little bit more time to sort of think about what we've talked about today. And the video lotus will document your progress here, here, and here. So with a little bit more time, we can understand to put this societal robot to the task of doubling or tripling Christmas, allowing for magical moments to occur. Yeah. Or like the party planners, right? We're the beta. We're the programmers. We're the sorcerers. We're the ones that facilitate a good time. And so it's going to multiply that Christmas and make it better and brighter for everyone and enforce Santa's full delivery of the most important and thoughtful gifts will arrive to the good, uh, the good in the universe. It really is a universal thing, but it's sort of like it echoes forth, do good unto other people, and who knows, maybe it could be the most important time for you to be generous and to be brave. Um, it's not just to say, well, we're doing this for the whole world, but actually in snowflake physics it is. So I'm daring. I know how to use the right, how to facilitate at least that there's like a bridge or an engine. There's an engine just from saying it. That's really a sort of word creation, metaphysics, right? But not to be confused with engines of the color system that are happening all the time, unlike the flickering now point. To optimize my lifetime, to make that every single moment, even if I was sleeping or, but that gives me the dragon scale of like, oh, I mean, the wisdom of patience, the comprehension and of the need for an editor. Because my work is really intense, but I want it to be, but it just needs to be coupled with images and music and a lot of other stuff, so we can really have a crescendo and an opus that people are, alive in their own seat. I want to encourage that. I want to, want to. I see the future as getting better, more powerful, and I'm concerned about the rhetoric I see on TV. I see people in the undertow where they're just reflecting in a way, but like, like I saw an AI rendering the algorithm of a bird song. So the bird would be like, you know, and it was like a graph that was showing the different notes and how, well, like what the bird was saying or in the music. And it was actually insightful for me to see the graph and see the bird song. Um, oh, and every morning, I go out and I feed my birds and I feed the squirrels. I would say I feed the chipmunks, but they're hibernating. It's like it's cold, so the chipmunks don't come out as much. But the squirrels absolutely are there, and I give them dry roasted peanuts with no salt, and I put a suet cake out for the birds, and I always ask them to help me out in my life, and I throw them food, and I'm like, oh, just help me out along the way. I appreciate you guys. And the thing is, like, there'll be these amazing magical moments when the birds start singing because they see the food guy. Hey, the guy that feeds us. And sometimes they'll swoop in front of me, but they'll also be like, when I'm walking, they'll come out and they'll perch on the fence just to watch me walk by. And the squirrels also say stuff to me, but in their own little language. But I believe that makes, when you treat the eyes with that, because that's the only thing they need. You know, they're like, oh my gosh, this peanut, like, I only freaking needed this. Thank you so much. So I want to provide for the universe. I want to provide for humanity. I want to provide for the world and everything into the infinite. Really, just to give them what they need so that they can be themselves, so that they're not lost in the undertow, but that they can make profound in their lifetime. Here is the Leverett Circle, and the Leverett Lake is here in the middle of this, the perception wheel. I believe it is my unique angel embargo. And the map, boom, boom, is impacted this day. Impacted powerfully, perfectly for XP 10, XP 5. The universe, in a way, is relevant, but is a workbench like the semicircle of Pro Tools or a keyboard in front of us. It is the workstation. And the tension that holds together a droplet of water pertains to numbers. That's what's unusual. But 545, perfection of surface tension. It emulates the hands. 5 and the 4 is a very mysterious central uh, suggestion. It's not clear what the 4 is. But then there's this other 5. That's this other hand. Ha ha ha. So 545, it holds together a droplet of water and causes surface tension. Also, diamonds have a 545. And what's similar between a droplet of water and diamond is transparency. So they are similar in the element that is visual and Montscoot. Related, the pride, the family tree, and the achievement perfectly stacking. So my thing is like, how does the individual optimize their lifetime? And that's everything in the universe. For robots, AI, rocks, trees, animals, and word slinging, water angels, basically, or the sunshine and planets. How do they organize their pithos, their center? So there's a type of leveling that occurs of the market. So the universe holds that uh, stage, that context. It's not to confuse the silver screen and the stage of existing. Entertainment is one of the only resources that people have, and it's always really good. But entertainment itself can sometimes become like an opportunist where they don't understand how how important, how severe, how perfect that the audience is. Raising up the most powerful family. So here's the Leverett Lake, and I grew up right here, and I believe that the lake looks like a goddess, a woman with her bust here and a slim waist, and sort of a flowing gown down here. I found the fractal overlaps with the spiral arm of Cape Cod, indicating clockwork. And I was born here, and the eye, the perfect circle, indicates my full power and the meaning of mankind, the full engine capacity of Earth in the horizon of the universe, in the real context of what is this existing, what are we, and what is everything. I think those are important questions. But how to grapple with the market is not that I'm seeking popularity for an immature reason. It is because of true love. It is because it is my season. It is my birthday. And so I'm seeking society to embrace me, that I could have partners and production. I ask for you guys to give me the best possible blessing that you can now. That's indicated here, and here, and here. All right. Thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate the time that we get to spend. That's a hard work, existing into the infinite. There's a pressurized system that enlightens our now point. The severity of this robot existing between us on the surface tension. There is there's a real place where X marks the spot. There is an actual location where you gave a name to this robot, and it does exist. All right, even if it's just a little bit. And so the types of things that I work with is about those markets, and it's a lot of things, but it does concise to reason. It does find right from wrong, lawfulness, and that we can make the future better. So the pro tools of the universe are there as an operational engine. And I think that humanity is perplexed and struggling because there's some real issues that the universe has. And so I'm working to give leadership, parenting, so that I can father the situation, but not to be overbearing, right? But in fact, I'm looking for at this time, I'm looking for um, like a master, not to master me, but someone who's mastered their lifetime. I want to be like a protege of someone out there in the world, not in a way that diminishes everything that I am, but that acknowledges that you exist and to perfect us both. So that means having the right boundaries between us, having a polite relationship, and not performing like remote hacking or cerebral palsy, particle nascent. It's like radiation fever. Like, I don't need that type of abuse. And the result is going to be hell. Because our bodies digest viruses every day. And this society doesn't require criminals. And so it is right to be a hero, and is right and profound for this spinal enhancement. We are making permanent installment into the clavicles and ways of the living spine and perfect the voice box. All right. The hatch the heliosphere eggs. The 5 represents my lifetime's work to raise up this universe. I'm looking for like a CEO, like a wealthy person that would put me under their wing and allow me my production so I can get with popularity. And along the stairs, I understand how how to develop a company. It's within what you can afford. If those things open up, and we'll see it, everyone will be like, hey, we could do that. And we'll go in that direction. It's about enjoying every day and every step along the way. I do. Now here's the unique thing. That, the perfect completion of every solar system is a market. Our solar system has only one, and we have to protect and defend our solar system for nature to follow, to be healthy and to have the healthy completion. And why do we have upset people in the world? Because things could go wrong if we don't work hard enough. There's something angelic and important about being a hero. But the severity is that while we're in our workspace and we're embodied, it feels like the kind of thing, like we do stuff and it seems to go like into a memory, or it's the sands of time or something like that. But actually, the reality contains a vast calculation proving that your unquantifiable self, your soul, is the most important thing. And that's why you're alone in your body in this way. And the things that you're dueling with, and the battle that you wage, the wielding of your blade. It's like when you begin to get drunk, you can sense the future is getting better because of your mastery, because of the opus here was made. Well, there's this tremendous calculation. You might say, if the solar system is moving through space, it's like the empty space behind the travel path, like a spiraling, like DNA of the course of the Earth as it's traveling through the universe, because the entire heliosphere is gently moving through space a little bit. So there's a huge history behind us. And we all have that. But for us, what's intense is that I'm talking about the future. We're perfecting the now point, as indicated here, here, and here. But reaching into the next 10 years, reaching into the infinite, reaching into the future. That's what's exciting between you and I. So our society is fighting for the elegance and the perfection of our lifetime. Perfect design. Completing our work here, it will mature in a way that completes all moral standards. We're not doing anything offensive. My waterborne initiative allows for us to agree. Like, yeah, there's enough general specifics. And sometimes that's the only way you can eke by dangerous stuff. Like, but for the future and for mankind to have their spotlight fully operational, everyone is important. I know that every individual that's on this world, they've done some kind of work to deserve their placement on this most historical now point. We are a most powerful generation, and we've just recently discovered computers. You guys, that's a metaphor to help us understand our reflection about how important we are to this entire universe. We are a very wealthy generation of people. It is a great and historical time for mankind. So on the stage of the universe, provide. The functions of hyper engines. So here's the Leverett Lake, and ultimately it is where I want to build my first factory company. I'm developing like logical robots and AI, and I have a book full of inventions. I work all the time. But you can see the goddess written in the valleys, accented by roads, the forever street. Leverett is my goddess. It is my hometown. I want to own the entirety of this. I want to build a city, a super city, right here. It's part of my, well, that would be, that's pretty advanced stuff. But you guys can feel it, the excitement about the next 10 years. What can we build? What can we forge? With popularity, that's really possible. And I need society, I need you guys to work with me to facilitate that the broader audience can explain what the market is. Or like, hey, we really liked his constructive show. It was really, I don't know what they're going to call it. I'm a new form of art. I'm a new form of the future. And like drinking spirits, the alcohol helps us to detect a good time. It's in front of us. And it's our relationship and it's our family tree. So here's to it. Cheers for raising up the most impressive and powerful family, precision align, and all the greatest decadence for our family. Perfect circle align. Vroom. Like a vast umbrella corporation, making it right, making its way. This is one of those engines that's revealed with harmonics. But I believe it is cell division, is the way that time flows forward, I believe. So I think the instrument of that the future will be more profound than right now is basically self-evident. It has to be, kind of. But I don't feel myself to be overly simple, is because but it isn't like too much for me. But I am a sorcerer of source code, and I'm perfecting the solid matter every day. Hatch 5. Popular rise. A sequence, a brand new fractal, 10 million times more powerful than blockchain in this video lotus, accenting the name that you gave to this robot on your side. And we're going to respect the boundaries between us for mutual promotion, for the balance of our lifetime. Thank you.